What probably hurts Swaggy C the most is how on earth is he going to sell all those t-shirts he obviously had custom made ahead of time and are currently sitting in boxes in his garage even as we speak. Hello everyone, I'm Dan the Man, and another week and another house guest goes out the door. This time, Swaggy C. Doubt many are surprised he didn't go far. Even though it was no surprise that Swaggy tanked his game, some really surprising and bizarre things did happen this week, most notably on Eviction night, but more on that later. Before I get into my thoughts on the nominations, Veto, and Eviction, and there's a lot to say about those things, I want to touch up on my thoughts on the App Store related shenanigans of the week. First, the fun one. I love the Yell app. That whole bit was hilarious. I did a video last Tuesday talking about my thoughts on the App Store in general and the remaining apps, but briefly saying it again, I love the Crapp apps. The voting system assures they mostly go to people who are doing very little over actually disliked house guests, which gives them a chance to show their personality, especially to fans who only watch the episodes and not the live feeds, and it gives us a chance to get invested in them. Also of note, Rachel tried real hard in the veto competition. I think she would have thrown it had it not been for the Crapp app, which motivated her to play harder. So I think it benefits the players who get it, despite it coming off as a bad thing. So I'm digging it. As for the Power app, not surprised Tyler won it. Would be shocked if he hadn't. I got worried when it said 8 weeks at first, because I thought it meant 8 weeks of safety, and the last thing we need is someone getting twice the free ride Paul got. But as the further explanation showed, to save himself he has to use it before the nominations, which means he has to know he's a target, so it's not bulletproof from keeping him from going up and going home. And after it's used once, it's done. And a move like that could make him a target the following week. It's still awfully powerful, maybe too powerful, but not the God mode that the safety reward last year was. And this time, at least going into the game, it wasn't a given it would end up in one specific person's hands, or anyone's hands at all. I do think, barring Tyler being safe for the next 8 weeks no matter what, which could happen, that he will eventually end up using the cloud. Yeah, he could be blindsided about going up, but Big Brother wants people to use these powers, or the fans will be annoyed and let down. So I have a feeling if he is in trouble and doesn't know it, Big Brother will start dropping hints, and Tyler knows Big Brother enough to likely catch on to what they're doing. So with that out of the way, on to the nominations and eviction portions of the game that played out this week. As we saw at the last eviction episode, Kaitlyn went on to win the head of household. Got to admit I didn't see that one coming. Granted, most of the challenge seemed to be luck, but still wouldn't have pegged Kaitlyn to win a challenge this season. Who knows, maybe her spiritual, karma, ding-dong dingle, or some other new age nonsense was guiding the ball. Doubt she'll win again, but she has an opportunity. How does she take it? She takes it right out back and has it shot, as she lets Tyler give a cute smile, talk slightly flirty to her, and rub her back into controlling her entire head of household and making her think it was all her idea. But regardless, Tyler's plan worked, and Kaitlyn set her sights on Swaggy. Now yeah, Swaggy did say what Tyler claimed he said, and Swaggy has no one but himself to blame for his behavior making him a target, but it was still a huge mistake for Kaitlyn to listen and go after Swaggy C. Swaggy was not gunning for her, and in going after him, especially the sneaky way she did, it killed any chance for the people who had been working with her to even trust her again, and she may find herself going home soon in the fallout for it. And in the process, she helped an alliance who doesn't care if she goes, and who will put her 7th at best behind the level 6 members, and probably below Sam and JC as well, to be honest, except maybe with Tyler. But at least she isn't at the bottom in the alliance that put her 6 as well, and she was probably above Swaggy for all but Bayleigh. I hope it works out for her, because from where I stand, she killed her chance of winning because a cute lifeguard paid attention to her. So I hope it was worth it. Backdooring Swaggy was a risky move, and I think level 6 would have ratted her out if her plan had failed, and despite what she seems to think, Scottie would have gone home in that scenario. And I'm kind of surprised Winston agreed to go up next to Scottie. Yeah, he likely had the votes to stay regardless, but not smart to feel that confident in things, especially this early and with so many people voting. But clearly he did feel confident because he did nothing to campaign. Even the clip on the Eviction episode had to scramble to find anything to make it look like Winston campaigned. He asked level 6 he was good, then just waited until Eviction night. It worked out for him, but he was not smart to at least not talk to Sam and JC to make sure they had his back and that he had their vote to stay. Going in, everyone expected Winston to be a force to be reckoned with, but so far he's done nothing. and been way too intense, which is going to get old with everyone real fast. He's living proof of Big Brother you cannot judge a book by its cover. Scottie, for his part, was also stupid to agree to go up. Kaitlyn wouldn't even tell him her plan, so he should have said no. Yeah, it might not have helped, but agreeing to go up as a pawn is never a good idea, especially if you don't even know the true target and logic behind putting you up in the first place. I know he thought he would beat Winston if the noms stayed the same, but he was not correct in that, I'm almost certain, so he should be glad that he went down. Which brings us to the veto competition. When I heard Cody and Jessica, by the way, it's not an accident I'm not referring to them by their couple name, there is only one Jody that deserves that designation of Big Brother, and it's this girl. Long may she reign. But I love the robot sound effects whenever Cody moved his neck. That was fun. I also loved the contest itself. The dating app was a fun choice, although I loved the confused looks the house guests gave when Cody and Jessica talked about the BB dating app, as I think they were confused thinking they were talking about a real thing. And I loved the dating profiles they had. There were a lot of fun jokes that were good for longtime fans like me. But once it was over, and we saw Tyler win the veto and kept his word to Kaitlyn, Scottie went down, and Swaggy C went up. Now, people will say a lot about Swaggy C. He brought most of it on himself. But one thing no one can say after this week, he did not go down without a fight. At first, after going up, Swaggy was shocked and definitely walked around in a daze for a little while. But then it lit a fire, and he fought hard. He tried to tell people anything he thought he could to change their mind, and Kaitlyn, it seems, and even Sam, briefly leads towards wanting him to stay, although Tyler swatched Kaitlyn's thought on that one pretty fast. He likely played too hard, as he talked so much to so many people and made so many promises and claims that I think some were just happy he left so he would stop chattering. But given how in recent seasons most of this situation just give up, I will respect him for giving it his best shot to turn it around. But not surprisingly, Swaggy didn't realize what was truly going on and had no idea what to actually say to change anything, if there was anything he could have said, and so he went home. Some thought Big Brother would save him, and make no mistake, I'm sure Big Brother would have liked him to stay. I think they probably did try to whisper into people's ears, which might have been part of why Kaitlyn was freaking out over her decision all week, but he just didn't have the numbers, and the guy who could have turned it around for him, aka Tyler, had no interest in keeping him, as he wanted Swaggy gone. So that's exactly what happened. As I said before, I'm not a fan of Swaggy C, and I'm not going to be buying any of his t-shirts. He was clearly more there to brand himself, make himself a minor celebrity so he could get social media followers, lots of podcast interviews, and be asked back over any real desire to win, which is exactly why it ended badly for him, by the way. That never works, at least not as far as winning the game. But I will say, while players like him give me a headache, his shtick was annoying, but he seemed harmless enough, and I felt like in the real world where he was not so on all the time, he was probably a nice guy. Also, I was not happy to see him going because of what it could end up leading to. Tyler seemed to be running this game, and while he hasn't shown if he can manipulate people who are not thirsty for guys' attention and who clearly has a crush on him, so far he's controlled the game without anyone realizing it. Well, that's not truly a bad thing. I don't want to watch someone just manipulate every event to his desire and march merrily to an easy trip to the final two. We saw that last season, and for that matter, Big Brother 16 was not that long ago either. That kind of thing is good for strategy geeks, but it's boring for a fan like me who wants things to shift, change, and to occasionally revert to chaos. So Swaggy gone was one step closer to Tyler and the bros controlling the game so they can high-five and bro out with their arm candy all summer. And if that happens, all the people who celebrated this week, just remember, you wanted this. Before I analyze if the house made the right choice, a couple of things that confused me on the eviction episode. The first thing was Scottie's vote. Now don't get me wrong, I get that if you know someone is not staying, it can be best to just vote them out. Although props to Rockstar, Haleigh, Bayleigh, and Faysal for not just doing what the house wants, which was a refreshing change of pace. But even if Scottie decided it wasn't best to vote for Winston when he was staying anyway, I don't get why he did it the way he did. He wore the stupid Swaggy C t-shirt. Hell, it was in large part his idea. He told everyone all week he was voting for him to stay. Then he votes him out with no deals made to anyone, to the knowledge of no one, with the snide remark and then calling Swaggy Chris, which clearly was meant to be a shot at him. I just don't get where that volatile vote came from, and I think even Julie was thrown off by it. Perhaps it'll be made more clear on Sunday when we see the diary room sessions, because I'm sure they asked him about that. But what was more confusing to me was Tyler's goodbye message. Why on earth did he pull a Josh and tell him the entire plan and everything he did? Yeah, given Julie told Swaggy how Haleigh voted, it's clear he won't get a chance to come back in, but Tyler didn't know that, or he supposedly didn't. So why tell him something that could bite him in the butt like that? Tyler's a superfan, so he knows people win their way back in often, so why risk telling him everything and giving Swaggy a reason to go after him if he theoretically had come back in? I mean, if he just assumed Swaggy wasn't going to get a chance to come back in and wanted him to know, Swaggy would have found out soon after. So what did he gain by doing that? Was it his ego? Did he make the same assumption most of us did, that Sam's power was going to be used in place of a battle back, so he was that sure it didn't matter? Did Big Brother tell him there was no battle back? I just don't get it, and unlike Scottie, I have a feeling we will have to wait until he gets out to have any chance of knowing what was going through his head. And Tyler seems locked to at least make jury, so I guess we'll have to wait a long time to truly make sense out of whatever that was. I can't really see how it's going to affect the game, since, as I said, Swaggy almost certainly isn't coming back in, or Julie wouldn't have told him how someone voted. It's just confusing. So with those questions looming over my head, was Swaggy C the right choice? For level 6, obviously it was the right choice, especially against one of their own, but for everyone else, and I do mean everyone else, they made the wrong decision. Swaggy was not going to win, and he was a lightning rod to deflect attention away. So even for people on the fence but leading to level 6, aka Sam and JC, they just helped clear the way for level 6 to eventually pick them off if nothing changes. Some argue Sam would be a fool to work with Swaggy's side when they wanted to vote her out, but I disagree. Yeah, they voted to evict her, but they also didn't want her to go on the block in the first place. No one but Tyler did. Her going there was all on him. And Swaggy and company tried over and over to talk Tyler into taking her down, and the only reason Faysal didn't use his veto is out of fear that one of his allies would have gone up if they took someone down against his wishes. And level 6 was going to vote her out until Tyler told them about her power. So since they thought they could use her, they changed their mind. And yeah, Tyler saved her. He also is the only reason she needed saving in the first place. And I have a feeling that once her power is gone, even Tyler's going to cast her aside once they don't need her number anymore. Swaggy and company would have worked with her, Tyler at level 6 just like her for her power, which he will have no control over after next week. I'm not saying that Sam should have used her power to save Swaggy, that would be a bad idea, but she didn't benefit from him going home. As for Swaggy's alliance, they didn't benefit from him going home regardless of how annoying he was, especially over Winston, who if he has his way will continue to pick them off one by one, which is why all of them voted to keep Swaggy, because more or less they know that. Well, except for Scottie, apparently. And Kaitlyn? She tanked her game, sending him home. Regardless of what his big mouth said about her behind her back, she did nothing but hurt herself by seeing him go home. So for the majority of the house, it was not a good thing. As we saw at the end of the Eviction episode, Scottie went on to win the head of household. There was some controversy before the challenge, as Swaggy somehow got a glimpse into the backyard and figured out it was going to be a true or false competition, and told Haleigh about that and suggested she study. Turned out he was right about it being a true or false competition, but they couldn't have really studied for that one, so it didn't matter. And it sure didn't help Haleigh, who went out right away. Scottie winning it could be interesting. He seems to be on the side of Swaggy's alliance, but after his vote, I'm not sure what he's going to do. Tyler's also going to no doubt crawl up Scottie's butthole like he did Kaitlyn and try to sway him. Not sure if he will or not. Scottie's not going to be quite so easily to control. So it will be interesting to watch. I'm hoping that he targets and takes out someone from level 6, however, because if they survive this week unscathed, and the former Fateh, or however they say it, ends up losing another member, then I think level 6 is likely in for a long road of dominance, and I don't want to fall into that rut. Thanks for watching. I'll be back next week with my thoughts on who went home, the final App Store Power App and Crapp app, which I'm glad is almost over, the Eviction, and whatever else happens this week, which I have a feeling could be quite a lot. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. I'm Dan the Man, and I'll see you next week.